Hi everyone, this is Yiping. Today I want to talk about cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is an important catabolic pathway inside our bodies. Remember from chapter 8, catabolic pathways are metabolic pathways that release stored energy by breaking down complex molecules. So we can summarize the overall chemical reactions of cellular respiration using this chemical equation. 1 glucose plus 6 oxygens is equals to 6 carbon dioxide and 6 water molecules, and energy in terms of ATP and heat. So there are 3 stages of respiration. The first 2 stages are glycolysis and citric acid cycle. They both synthesize ATP by substrate-level phosphorylation. And the third stage is oxidative phosphorylation. It includes 2 parts, which are electron transport and chemiosmosis. I will talk about the difference between the substrate-level phosphorylation and oxidative phosphorylation later in this video. So the first stage of cellular respiration is glycolysis. It is basically just splitting glucose. This reaction occurs in the cytosol. The input of this reaction is 1 molecule of glucose, and the output of it is 2 molecules of pyruvate, 2 ATP, and 2 NADH. This reaction needs assistance of many enzymes. And the second stage of respiration is pyruvate oxidation and the citric acid cycle. The pyruvate synthesized by glycolysis enters the mitochondria via active transport. This is because the pyruvate is an charged ion, so it must need transport protein to enter the mitochondria. And after that, pyruvate is oxidized to a compound called acetyl-CoA. It's a compound here. So in eukaryotes, pyruvate oxidation happens in the mitochondria, and in prokaryotes, pyruvate is oxidized in cytosol. And then acetyl-CoA enters the citric acid cycle. You can see it from here. And the input of this reaction is 2 pyruvates, and the output of it is 6 carbon dioxide, 8 NADH, 2 FADH2, and 2 ATP. In this diagram, there's only 1 pyruvate involved in this reaction. So if we have 2 pyruvates, we need to multiply all these numbers by 2. So that's why we have 2 ATP instead of 1 here. This reaction also needs assistance of many enzymes. And the last stage is oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is powered by the redox reaction of electron transport chain. So this diagram talks about the substrate level phosphorylation. It transfers a phosphate group from a substrate molecule to ADP. But for oxidative phosphorylation, it just adds an inorganic phosphate group to ADP. So oxidative phosphorylation is more efficient in synthesizing ATP compared with substrate level phosphorylation. And the second stage is the main stage for respiration to generate ATP. During this phase, nearly 90% of ATP is synthesized through the redox reaction of the electron transportation. Speaking of electron transportation chain, it's a very important component of respiration. It consists of most proteins inside the membrane of the mitochondria. For prokaryotes, the proteins are inside the plasma membrane. So we can consider NADH and FADH2 as the shuttle of electrons. They take electrons to the top, higher energy end of the electron transport chain, and then the oxygen molecules at the lower energy end of the electron transport chain pulls the electrons down the electron transport chain. And during this process, about 26 or 28 ATP will be generated. As for chemiosmosis, the definition of it is energy stored in hydrogen ion gradient is used to drive cellular work such as the synthesis of ATP. And as the oxygen molecules pulling down the electrons from the higher energy end to the lower energy end, the NADH and FADH2 are oxidized, so they pump hydrogen ion from mitochondrial matrix into the intermembrane space. So during this time, the concentration of hydrogen ions in the intermembrane space is higher than that of the mitochondrial matrix. So the hydrogen ion will tend to move back to the mitochondrion by diffusing down its gradient. At the same time, the exergonic flow of hydrogen ion will drive the phosphorylation of ADP. So this is an overview of cellular respiration. First of all, the one molecule of glucose is split into two pyruvate in glycolysis, and at the same time, two NADH and two ATP are generated. And then the pyruvate enter the mitochondria and is oxidized to two acetyl-CoA and two NADH are synthesized, and then the two acetyl-CoA enters the citric acid cycle, and then at this time, two ATP, 6 NADH, and two FADH2 are synthesized, and then in the last stage of cellular respiration, all the NADH and FADH2 work as the shuttle of electrons to transport the electrons to the electron transport chain, and about 28 or 26 or 28 ATP are generated by chemiosmosis. So in total, about 30 or 32 ATP are generated per glucose. Yeah, that's all I have to say for the cellular respiration. Thanks for watching. Bye.